Hello, everyone, and welcome back. So happy to have you here for what could be our final day of regular season play. I am Dash, joined by Crumbs, Mark Z, and Azael to kick things off. Week 9, do or die for a lot of teams here, gentlemen. For some, they're already locked in. They're sitting pretty, and they're going to feel good about that. Could be some jostling for seeding, to say the least. But for those of you at home, a little bit of info. If there are 3 or fewer tiebreakers, we will be playing them out today, immediately after Game 5. If there are 4 or more, then we get bonus League of Legends, gentlemen, and we're coming back tomorrow for another day of games.
I want bonus days.
You want bonus days?
Yeah.
Why? Because they pay you more?
No, because we get more days to do something.
Mark, let's
because
be honest,
we love League of Legends.
Right. My bad.
You're gonna be home tomorrow anyway, Mark.
Yeah,
I know, but I
what
have
are
the
we
dive
doing?
on Monday. Yeah, I'm kidding.
Oh, please. We'd like to see it. Let's take a look at the standings to see which of those teams are still in the running for a playoff spot. As was mentioned earlier, Cloud9, FlyQuest, 100 Thieves, Evil Genius, and TSM have now all locked in their playoff spot. Those 5 teams are going to the postseason. Still could, again, be some jostling for seeding within those 5. But it's Immortals, Dignitas, Golden Guardians, and Team Liquid today that are looking to be that 6th and final team in the playoff picture. Which brings us to our schedule, the teams they'll have to pick up the wins against. For Golden Guardians, they're going to have to do it against a very solid FlyQuest. Today, bringing Viper back into the lineup. We'll talk about that one in just a moment. But of course, a lot of eyes are on Immortals versus Evil Geniuses in that 3rd game of the day. If Immortals does it there, they guarantee themselves a postseason, and they rip that opportunity away from the other teams I listed below them in the standings. So, gentlemen, a lot of eyes are on that 3rd game of the day, but the games before it, those teams still got to get it done if they even want the shot, if Immortals drops the game.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's so exciting that we're in the very final day of the season. Only 1 seed is locked. Cloud9 is first. That is decided. Everything else is essentially to play for. There's 5 playoff teams locked in, but we don't know what seed they are. And potentially, there's still 4 teams that could, in this crazy scenario, end up playing tiebreakers. You know, it's really wild to get that final spot.
Not gonna lie, watching the Immortals dig game yesterday felt like there was some higher power involved in making this 4-way tie happen. Like, that game needed to end. We did not need to be here, but clearly a script is weaving itself into the LCS.
The higher power was frogging.
Yeah, it was. Jat that whole time was like, I'm calling the dig win from like second 0, but based on essentially nothing other than draft. Let's talk about the first game of the day and how it might kind of color the rest of the day. If FlyQuest does pick up the win here in Game 1, it means we are guaranteed a 0 to 3 game tiebreaker day, which means they will all be played at the end of the day, and it will come down to that EG versus Immortals game later to determine how many. But as I mentioned earlier real briefly, Viper's back in the lineup for this game against Golden Guardians. And Mark, I got to come to you with some curiosity as to why they're making this move when it felt like Solo, 2-1 record there, wasn't playing that poorly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little surprising. I mean, they are locked for playoffs, but when you look at the stats, it does feel like Solo has been a significantly better performer. Viper has had, some pop-off games over the course of the split, but he's had a lot of really forgettable and sometimes outright bad ones as well. So Solo has better stats, has looked better in game to, I think, a lot of us. So the only way I can wrap my head around it is if this is some sort of their last look before they head into playoffs and they want to get one more look at Viper before then. But otherwise, I mean, I would have thought that Solo was the guy.
I just think it's bizarre because if they win, they lock 2nd place, which means Cloud9 cannot pick you. You cannot play Cloud9 in that first round. And I think that is a very big deal. So I think whether you're in playoffs or not, you should be playing to get this win and secure your 2nd place position. So maybe they have something special planned. Otherwise, I think they're kind of messing up.
Right, Crumbs, it makes me wonder what they see as the potential in Viper that they don't get from Solo. That it feels like they're searching for something still from their top laner.
Yeah, I mean, because we haven't seen Viper, we don't know if his champion pool has changed a little. He might be able to bring something new to the table. My concern is that Golden Guardians looked good yesterday because
very true.
Solo and Viper, there is some differences there, but the bottom line from Golden Guardians made a big dent yesterday with the Zig support in the 24-minute game win. So I feel like this substitution, whether you have something with a top laner that you like, is something that is going to make your synergies not be as clean as they should be up against an opponent that looks good in a very important game.
Now, while FlyQuest is gunning for that second seed, like you mentioned here, with a win, Azael, I think Crumbs' points should be recognized. The innovation out of Golden Guardians yesterday and the Ziggs in the bot lane and the very speedy win. This is a team that shouldn't be overlooked here in the final stretches towards that postseason.
I love the pick. I think it made a lot of sense in the context. Tahm Kench was kind of a takeaway pick for their opponent. You know, they're trying to deny the TK Varus style of gameplay, but then they're ending up with Tahm Kench Ezreal. That is such a punishable lane, and yes, your jungler kind of has to play to that side of the map to protect and mage support, but I think we could see more things like Brand and Zyra and Vel'Koz and, hey, even Ziggs to punish some of these really weak lanes, and teams have been very hesitant to do it, but this is a perfect example of the kind of rewards you could reap when you crush a lane like that.
Yeah,
They played set too.
Yeah, I mean, huhi definitely has a really interesting champion pool, and I think it's one of the things that has shown for why the substitution in for Keith might be working out for Golden Guardians. If you can keep pulling stuff out like this that can let them dominate lane or something. It does work into more than Ezreal too. Like, I think, you know, you could do it into Senna or some of the other slow pushing supports when you have these double wave clear pushing champions. And I'm curious to see if they can pull that out again today, or if it was just the Ziggs, and we'll see if that gets banned as well. Because even that is starting to make it worth it to be freeing up draft resources in some sense.
Yeah, well, even if it is the Ziggs, Mark, how do you expect FlyQuest's bot lane to maybe be able to stack up against a curveball like that? You know, whereas that curveball worked yesterday. Turtle IgNar, no slouches.
Yeah, I think IgNar is the big part for me. He has such a big champion pool. I think he's played the most supports out of any support player. I think he has the most champs played, biggest champ pool. So I would assume he'd have something, and he's a more aggressive player, so I would expect that to be more of a engage, kind of kill it in lane answer. And I think they'd be better about bringing Santorin down and actually getting down to the bot lane to try and punish the Ziggs pick when it pushes in over and over again. I think that's one of the ways I would like to see them try and deal with it if they do go up against it.
Mark, you mentioned Santorin, and I'm kind of remiss of myself for kind of skipping right over him in this matchup. He had a pop-off performance yesterday with that red to top lane level 2 gank to really get his laners rolling. Let's talk about the jungle matchup a little bit, Azael. Closer here for Golden Guardians, saddled with the responsibility of controlling a Santorin who looked to be aggressive even on the Trundle early yesterday.
I think both these guys are standout players on their team. I have been pretty impressed with Closer throughout the split. I do think both of them have the ability to get aggressive early, but Closer is usually the one to do it more often. So I think in this game, it's more on Santorin to contain Closer, and Closer to be the proactive player to try to get some of these lanes, which you may expect to lose in isolation, ahead.
Well, as the teams hit Champion Select, the first target for Golden Guardians is that Rek'Sai and IgNar trying to remove some of his engage opportunities. But with that, it's my cue to hand it over to the casters to kick off our... Or not. Maybe I'm going to hold... Oh, I have just been informed that we are restarting Champion Select by our producers. So we're going to hold here on the analyst desk for just another moment, fellas, and let the teams get reset into Champion Select. Don't have exact word on what went wrong there.
Bring Crumbs back on camera. I want to talk about his Morpheus outfit, by the way. It looks so good.
Yes, that's exactly what I was doing. I have in my history. I was looking.
Do you have we need glasses. Do you have glasses?
I don't have those. I don't have.
Oh, the black on black with the leather.
Yes. We get options.
So
my goodness.
I looked up the Morpheus out. He actually doesn't wear just black. He has it's a purple shirt and a green tie. Yeah.
Is it?
I just messed it up. But
just all deep colors.
With the like flare thing.
Yeah,
you can work on it, you know. You can build upon these are good foundations. Some good building blocks you've established to becoming
very
Morpheus,
much so.
So.
Hey, I will admit I have been very much appreciative of Crumbs' efforts in wardrobe for the at-home broadcast. He suited up with me last week. He's Morpheused it up this time around.
Our sanity
Although
depends on it.
We're exploring an aspect of Mark Z's wardrobe that I've never seen before.
The sweater game?
Yeah, the sweater game.
I haven't repeated yet.
You have not. I'm impressed, man.
Did you buy that, or did your girlfriend give it to you?
No, this is the family Christmas tradition at the Zimmermans. Is my mom gives me some a ridiculous amount of sweaters. I probably have thrown out dozens of sweaters. She's giving.
Oh my goodness.
Your mom is watching.
No.
You know,
Yeah, she's
her face and
just breaking down in tears right now, Mark.
Yeah, she's like, Mark, I thought you.
I have 20, Mom. What do you want me to do? I have 20 sweaters.
You were so happy when you opened it. Were you lying?
Is I love a lie, Mark.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, gents, I do see Champions
feel
like
good about
flying
yourself.
back up onto my screen with that recon band hitting the table. I'll wait for the actual go ahead to toss it over the casters, but I want to get your opinions real quick on the way the Champ Select's developing that target towards the recon and a Pantheon to follow. So what do we think of Golden Guardian's attack plan so far?
It does seem to me like they are trying to limit a lot of FlyQuest's easiest engage options. So like if they are going to go for a heavy pushing bot lane and they have other things in huhi's pool, even if it's not the Ziggs, Pantheon would be one of your biggest concerns about being able to just instantly jump onto them from anywhere on the map, as well as the recon starting things off. So it could be telegraphing some more bot lane aggressive picks.
I also
Alright.
think the Varus ban is actually really smart because FBI has been spamming this champion. His 3 straight games on it has looked good in all those games. So removing that as an option makes a lot of sense.
Taking away some of what worked for the Golden Guardians yesterday, FlyQuest is. But as we're moving through the first ban phase, I am going to hand it over to the casters officially to get us into that first game of the day.
That's right, Dash. It is my time to shine. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the separated casting desks. I am Freak alongside the laugh you just heard. It's Kobe.
Yeah, I got a standing desk, by the way, so one level above you.
Oh, that was always true without the height difference.
I like how the analyst desk started to set up the band's talk, though. They were talking about IgNar and the various supports that he's played. By far his most played of all the different champions, though, is the Recon and is the Engage. That's very clearly something Golden Guardians have focused on here. Them wanting to first pick Aphelios like so many other teams. This is a champion that if you have very quick engages and easy stuns and CC, can be negated very quickly, but it's one of FBI's best champions. It's one of the best champions in the meta. They protected him a little bit, and they've got him.
Yeah, I think 10.6 had big enough Aphelios nerfs that I think he's actually in a spot where he's not a mandatory pick anymore. I expect to see the pick rate decline over time. For now, though, teams are comfortable playing him. He's certainly viable, don't get me wrong. Be answered by the misfortune here. But of course, FlyQuest, right, they're the ones who ban the Senna, they ban the Varus. They know Aphelios is up here as the pick. I'm curious what they expect to counteract this with.
I like that you bring up the point of the recent nerfs too, because in solo queue, personally, I feel fine with him now. Meanwhile, the MF is a very strong laner as well, if you can get the correct double ups there. So I do like what WildTurtle and FlyQuest have opted for. Of course, they do have Viper in. This is one of the big stories for this match. They've got him Renekton already. This is, for other teams, a flexible champion. I would say it's not really going to be a PowerOfEvil champion, but he has proven us wrong on other assumptions that we've made about him. So could very well be moved around still as
Yeah.
get the blind pick Zoe.
PoE has played melee champions, but they've been Diana, Rumble, and Kiana. They've been traditional mid laners, as far as I'm concerned, like looking at history right now. So yeah, I have yet to see him pick out the Ornn, haven't seen him grab the Renekton, haven't even seen him grab the Aurelia, but that's the hover right now. Again, not certain he's going to go for something like that, but they do know Zoe's in the mid lane, so I'm curious what they do answer with.
Lot of attack damage if they
Oh, look, it's
lock
Viktor.
any of those hovers. Yeah, I was really not sold on a lot of those hovers. 'Cause
Yeah.
that would be so much attack damage for their team. They do get him a PowerOfEvil champion. There you go. You get your Viktor. Scaling up, has the super long range. Late,
Yeah.
does quite well. In Zoe.
Surprise Pikachu, Kobe. This is the most surprised Pikachu. You're like, other teams play Renekton mid lane. FlyQuest probably not so much. Instantly into the Viktor lock. Like, this is PoE.
Yeah. Back to the Viper point,
Right,
though.
yeah.
For him being back in, I had heard that he has been playing very well in his own right in scrims. So I don't think this is any sort of crazy thing from FlyQuest. They're taking this game very seriously. They know that they need to win this game to try and lock one of those top spots, get second place.
Yep.
Very important for playoffs. And with him on the Renekton with the Blade of the Ruined King buffs, this is one of the first champions I thought of when we saw those buffs to the Blade of the Ruined King. With your empowered W, absolutely annihilate.
Yeah, I think he's definitely very good, and I am curious to see what happens because I agree with what Azale was saying, which is that Solo has been playing well. I think he's been a pretty dominant player
right in
overall.
front
His
of it,
communication with Santorin's been good. They have 2 first bloods in the 3 games he's played, and they said, yeah, even though we brought in Solo to replace Viper, we're going to keep this guy. If they can flex those 2 top laners, that's pretty interesting.
Literally right
I want
in
to
front.
point out this is a game without a Riven ban, and they didn't go for it anyway. They put him on something more conventional. I think especially they expect Riven bans down the line. They said, no, you got to prove it here on non-Riven, and that is, I think, a good choice for kind of further testing the waters and making sure they know which top laner they do actually want to bring. Very end of the draft now. FlyQuest still need a jungler. Golden Guardians the same, as they've got a mid laner, a top laner, and the whole bot lane.
Yeah, and in that bot lane, the Alistar, the engaged for IgNar still comes, just in a different form here. Alistar hasn't been super popular recently, but does have a lot of good looks. You need to put a little bit more effort into your vision control because Alistar does need to utilize flanks a little bit more than Rakan. Doesn't have the same distance that Rakan has or the same speed that Rakan has. Meanwhile, on the Golden Guardian side, there you go. Hauntzer gets the tank in the top side, and it's an early game jungler for closer. He has done very well with getting leads for the team on early game junglers. And Rek'Sai is one of the most flexible and versatile gank paths.
Yep, very strong champion. Other side, he talked about the tanks coming through. Trundle is the answer here for Santorin. Played it just yesterday and got first blood at level 1 in the top lane. Well, I guess he was level 2, but it was really strong overall. I like this. It feels pretty comfortable for a front-to-back team fight as far as just kind of hitting people and bashing your face against each other. Alistar did get buffed a couple packs ago. His healing cooldown from the passive is a lot shorter, so we'll see him sustain both himself and his teammates a bit more easily in lane and or in team fights.
Yeah, and the Trundle is really funny because Santorin, after the game yesterday, tweeted out 0 practice games on Trundle, 0 scrim games Trundle, but he got the win on the stage there. So gonna go for round 2. Found success.
Yeah,
picking.
I mean, he's a strong champion, right? I think Trundle is very good. I think there's not that many intricate mechanics to him, so don't blame me for just throwing up a pillar and being like, oh, look, Aatrox can't dash. Great. Yeah, I think pretty solid. So again, FlyQuest can guarantee exactly second seed with a win. Golden Guardians must win and get help for a chance at making playoffs. The stakes couldn't be higher for these 2 teams. So we'll see you here after a 5-minute competitive integrity break with the game. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. The game is about to begin in just about a minute and a half or so. At a quick pause on the FlyQuest side, it has been resumed, and we're just building up that 5-minute buffer. Competitive integrity is a great phrase. Kobe, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm trying to keep my mic right in front of my face so I don't turn and lose any volume.
None of that Tezonde, nonsense. Turning away all the time. Make sure.
True.
Do it. Yeah,
I'm locking eyes with you, freak.
I appreciate that. I'm looking into the black void of my webcam and assuming that I'm seeing your pearly whites.
My dark heart, my evil.
Wait, are you back to being evil, Kobe? We had this discussion during rehearsal, by the way, where I was like, "Hello, I'm Kobe," and you're like, "But which one? Am I Dark Kobe?" And it was a whole thing. It was funny in the moment, trust me.
I think it's super funny when it gets replayed too.
I'm really good at telling inside jokes and having them not be funny. That's what I'm good at. We had this discussion with Azale as well yesterday. Whole other thing that we'll not get into at all. So, exciting game, of course. FlyQuest, for those of you just joining us, can lock second seed with the win here. That would be pretty exciting for them. They would kind of await the non-picked third or fourth seed for their first round opponent, depending on who Cloud9 wants to play for themselves. Meanwhile, Golden Guardians are fighting for their playoff lives. The only way that they can make it into the top 6 and have a postseason at all is winning here and then getting help down the line.
Yeah, I mean, it's really important with the new format that we have for playoffs where there's the upper bracket and lower bracket. And there's a powerhouse team in the upper bracket called Cloud9 that no one wants to play. So let's see what they can do about it here. Early ward already placed by FlyQuest should see the invade.
All right, so they're walking up into the jungle, getting the wards down decently enough. Golden Guardians definitely spotted doing that. And FlyQuest can generally... They could infer that there could be a ward up there near their red buff. There actually isn't, but it's the kind of thing that Santorin has to kind of be cognizant of and potentially path around.
Yeah, it's definitely something you want to play through as a jungler. If you gain information on where their wards are, then you can feed them false information sometimes as well. As you can see, Sweeper on the bottom side. Nobody. There we go. They give it to FBI. He gets the extra 10.
Yeah, I believe they're trying to play with XP ranges because I don't remember the exact bot lane breakpoints. I know with mid lane, if you get pretty much any share of ward gold or ward XP, you level up on the end of the first wave. Bot lane's a little bit different because it takes 3 melee minutes the second wave, and melees are worth a lot of XP, so it's hard for that breakpoint to matter or to break that breakpoint.
It only matters really for solo lanes.
Yeah,
because you can get your level 2 off the first one there. Bottom side, though, they do get there first. See if they can zone Turtle off at all.
Yeah, hit once.
Like it.
Yeah.
Got him.
Got him. AD carry base health return is actually very, very low. So if you aren't autoing and healing with the Doran's Blade, actually the damage actually does stick. You tend to have about 1 or less health per second. So sometimes it can matter. That little extra 50 damage can mean a lot once in a while.
I like how there's a defensive ward they placed on the red afterwards as well. Golden Guardians really covering all their bases for the jungle path there for Closer, setting up Closer for a bottom side focused jungle path. And with FBI and huhi trying to bully early on for WildTurtle and IgNar, it's definitely the area they want to focus on.
Well, right now, FBI has perfect CS right now, 13 counting the ward he killed early on. Bit of extra damage on this turret, which, never really hurts. A lot of range, obviously, with the sniper rifle as well, poking at IgNar. But, yeah, there's that first triumphant roar. It's going to go off a little bit more often than it normally did in the previous patches, and that'll be helpful. And the ward ends up making sure that Closer knows he's safe for the red buff, grabs that no problem. Equal farming count to Santorin right now, who's on Krugs.
Yep, Trundle pretty happy to farm it out early versus Rek'Sai. There's not really a lot of options for Closer to start off a play, since the tower dive versus full health Alistar and Misfortune is kind of rough. They also have all their summer spells available, so just going to trade Scuttle Crabs.
Anyways, being pushed back and forth up to the top side. Hauntzer on the worst end of it here. There isn't quite 10 CS to pick up, so he's definitely going to be down CS. And last hitting under turret is Ornn. Not easy either. So Viper having a great early laning phase. Drops, I think, literally his first CS of the lane would be at 25 with perfect CS, but now here comes a dive. Level 4 for both. TP comes in for a third, and Hauntzer is very alone. Immunes the stun. Viper's going to leave range, but the rest of CC is going to be found. Hauntzer cannot get away. PoE should barely live through that turret shot, and a top lane tower dive 4 minutes in gives Viper first blood assist.
And look at all those minions. Hauntzer does have teleport, so he'll instantly use it as soon as he revives, but still loses out on a decent amount of the wave. Meanwhile, if you look at mid lane, well, we'll wait until we get back to live. But here's another look at it: 3 versus 1. Hauntzer tries to flash away under his turret, but there's no getting out of it for him.
Man, I love the calming music. You know, it's
That's
like,
what
you know,
I was laughing about.
I figured you were. It's like, this is Hauntzer taking the long nap. He's taking a big sleep. We'll see you again in about 15 seconds. But for now, here we go. Huhi is very much alone. Look at the crowd control. 1 versus 2. Second stun comes in. Santorin's already 2-0.
Cue the same music. You know what happens to him in the end. It's going to be Huhi back in the fountain. Really nice engage there from IgNar once again. They catch him out as he's trying to push up and get some vision. And this one's really scrappy really quickly here. 2 kills go to Santorin for the Trundle. It's going to be quite a beefy troll in this game. And as you mentioned in Champ Select, is a very big part of later on in the game when they're trying to front-to-back team fight, shredding that Ornn and possibly the Nautilus, making them very easy targets to take down for the grouping team. So as soon as they start to get those groups around the dragon, we'll see if they can actually bring it to front. Mid lane though, 3 people.
And I gotta say, you know, this is interesting to me because Santorin, I think, is having a far better early game than he was before. Now, PoE, of course, does have the flash, but a lot of crowd control. Just no way out. Closer sets it up, and everyone else knocks it down.
Yep, easy flash combo there. Closer flashes in for the knockup, allows Huhi on the Nautilus, also flashing in, stun locking PowerOfEvil. Nothing he can do about it. And as Santorin was just down on the dragon, they have to retreat after their mid laner dies, and the prize will go over to the Golden Guardians.
Nice bubble, keeps Goldenglue safe, and yeah, that's Ocean Drake picked up very early on. The gold gap getting close pretty quickly by that mid lane kill. A lot of gold lost, of course, to the turret as well. That is a nice pickup there. Golden Guardians right back in it.
All right, IgNar looking for another one, but Goldenglue is Zoe, so a lot more difficult to gank. Man, with 3 people having a flash from the jungler, a flash from a...
Oh,
never mind.
Goodbye. I mean, IgNar, I think he's just dead. He's going to try to blast one away. He might actually just have the damage. 1 auto. Oh, this is easily dead.
It's Zoe.
Oh, yeah, he always has him. And now WildTurtle, depending on when the bubble comes back up, because he's got that Spell Thief flash, but the cooldown's long enough that MF gets to walk away, and suddenly Golden Guardians up 500 gold, looking to find when the bubble comes in. There it is. Easy Q to land. Does get away from turret range as well. Goldenglue is now winning in mid lane.
Yep, definitely Golden Guardians are looking at Goldenglue on the Zoe right now to try and get them this early lead. FlyQuest had been running all over this game with the early kills onto Santorin, but with the focusing of all their power onto PowerOfEvil, taking him down, flashes forced, this opens up an area that Golden Guardians can play out.
I also don't know how this happened, but suddenly top lane has basically equal farm right now. And when Hauntzer TP'd back to lane and took the rest of the wave, he should have still been down in farm. Okay, now Hauntzer's back up, Viper's still up a little bit as he shoves the wave in, but I feel like the top gap closed on its own without any intervention.
Yeah,
-3 is not fair.
There's one of those, look over here for a while, bottom side of the map, lots of action. Ignore the Ornn in the top side. Cleaning up the extra minions. So definitely well played by Hauntzer to make that happen. Like you talked about though, when we last left it, there were a decent amount at the tower. So maybe Viper just with an extra recall in there. Does have the makings of the Blade of the Ruined King that we're looking for. Starts with the Vamp Scepter plus the extra longsword. And this is going to be Rift Herald.
Yeah, so far Golden Guardians, really, really good top lane dive, really good repeat gank then to set up the second kill. But ever since then, or I should say repeat gank, it was just Huhi getting caught, to be fair. But after those moments, Golden Guardians able to attack mid lane really easily, get a bunch of gold out of that one. And then now they get the Herald as well. They already got the Drake. This is a very good early game now for Golden Guardians. Up 700 gold. They're going to get another 500 off the turret slam, you have to believe. And they're looking amazing.
And there's been a lot of talk around Goldenglue, and the end of the season, he has had some very good performances for them, trying to step up for the team. Has also had a hard time in some of the games this split with doing a lot with the lead that he gets. Now, like we talked about, him getting the early kills and the early priority on mid lane, he's got to transition this early power for Golden Guardians around the rest of the map. One of the scariest things about a fed Zoe is her roaming through the river, trying to throw bubbles at your other lanes and then start to affect WildTurtle, start to affect Viper with the possibility of early upgraded Sork Shoe's mobility into a lot of harassment.
Yeah, see if we can make that one happen. 81 CS, definitely high. Kind of beaten only by his other laners. I want to point out, by the way, bot lane up 20 CS right now. And that's with both supports having roamed out, of course. This is actually pretty big stuff. Just in the fact that FlyQuest said, yeah, go ahead and grab first pick Aphelios. We'll counteract with Misfortune. And WildTurtle is doing nowhere near the lane bowling he's supposed to with the matchup. So FBI doing a great job.
Yeah, FBI. I have to say this is one of his best champions for sure, even with the nerfs. That's why they're really confident in going back to it. And huhi has been great. Let's see about this mid lane, though. Both teams sending extra resources because they know how important it is. Trying to clear out the vision in that river as well. That will eliminate some of those worries about Zoe roaming to the other lanes.
Yep. For now, huhi was known to not be in the mid lane. They saw him helping to clear in bot, so now he's on his way back up. Next Drake in 40 seconds. Viper had roamed down, and then it gave enough time for Hauntzer to keep shoving. Pops clarity real quick for some extra mana. And it's actually Hauntzer, as the wave gets cleared out, now equal in CS. He's just objectively out-farming Viper in a one-on-one where he got first blooded in. As Santorin gets poked down, there's the third and fourth plate going down to the mid lane. Goldenglue's plenty rich. A 1,500 gold lead for Golden Guardians. They can't spend the money on the reset just yet. They're stuck on these items as the Drake comes up in 12.
I gotta say, I'm a huge fan of the early Rift Heralds now. Since they buffed the extra gold on turret plates, Golden Guardians quick cash in right there. And since Goldenglue is already whittling away at that mid turret, that thing is about to fall over. Golden Guardians are on the precipice of gaining so much control of the map. It already is going to lead to Dragon number 2, and if they finish off that mid turret, they can continue stacking them by getting those deep wards and trying to set up more picks.
Now, taking a quick moment to zoom out from this game for a second, I want to point out the other playoff implications. So, if you're a Team Liquid fan, for example, you actually need one of Golden Guardians or just Dignitas to actually get a win to join that three-way tie. That is the only way even TL makes it. So TL is also a Golden Guardians fan right now for the other playoff implications here. Obviously, Golden Guardians want to be in control of their own fate as well. That all gets stopped from Mortals wins later on. But this is Golden Guardians. I'm looking very, very good. FlyQuest, I wouldn't blame Viper for this one, right? He was fine. He helped set up the top lane dive, but the rest of the map is falling apart around it.
Yeah, I mean, Crumbs said there were some mystical forces at work yesterday. Dignitas did their part to help out Team Liquid. It looks like Golden Guardians are starting this one out, making their best effort to make it happen as well, and make our playoff race that much more exciting. Viper should be able to slip out here, no problem. Renekton just dashing on over. But as we get further into the game, Freak, and the top CS is just fine there for Hauntzer. This is why people are still automatically picking Ornn, even after the nerfs where you have to get an extra level to start doling out your extra items. Looks like he should be able to get there without any further deaths besides a 3-on-1 tower dive. IgNar might not be so lucky.
Yeah, it's to flash over the wall. It's enough to keep him alive with the ulti and the flash, but those still important cooldowns that are missing, and if there's to be a repeat fight towards the bottom side, he doesn't have those tools for it, but no Drake's alive. Herald number 2, not going to be for a little while, I believe, and so it still means that mid can be attacked. There are still plates on the map. 15 seconds past 13 minutes in means plenty of time to knock that one out. That's going to be a bunch more gold picked up at about 700 to the coffers overall. Is mid-outer the first to be cracked this game. A bit of a rarity, but with how much Goldenglue is winning mid and that earlier Herald slam, it's looking really, really nice.
IgNar's got a great position.
Could be a collapse. Viper's recalling, I think, to make a TP play happen, potentially. Not going to find anything to do just yet, sitting up in that top corner. Gonna spot out
Nice
IgNar
spot
down
there.
Yeah. All right.
And that gives them the push. Look at this. Misfortune gets all the way up to the tower, too. That little roundabout there. It does cost top lane a lot of extra minions, though, and Hauntzer racks up a third plate. Oh, no!
Oh, he was just
I think
like a
it died.
second. Oh, that sucks. He was he was like one auto attack away from 160 gold. Couldn't quite get it. That was all Viper's mastermind play. He recalls. He's safe TP the entire time, by the way. I haven't seen him TP back to lane the entire game. Has the Ruin King now and huhi. This could be dangerous. He's trying to get away. Slams the anchor down. Ult comes in. A stopwatch stops the stun, but he's still going down. huhi, goodbye. FlyQuest finally on the board since those first early kills. And now Viper feeling comfortable against Hauntzer, right? Has so much more damage available to him. Ult's going to land. But does Hauntzer win against Ruin King? I'm not sure that's going to be the truth. 235 health picked up by the empowered Q, and Viper able to get knocked up. Still not sure this is going to be a winning fight for Hauntzer, though. That is a Ruin King. No, not going to find the sleep. Won't find that slow either. Paddlestar forces the flash of the Viper.
That spellbook exhaust goes such a long way. Viper just hitting his power spike there with the Blade of the Ruin King. Tries to take the all in, but with the exhaust, Hauntzer defends it. Even baits him in for Goldenglue to blow the flash.
Ends up being a, summoner advantage, ultimate advantage. Overall, I guess, the Golden Guardian's side. We'll say Hauntzer's CD a little bit longer, but it's close enough between the two. See if they can get more pressure topside or somewhere else. There's obviously no turret to defend mid lane. Hauntzer forced to flash away. IgNar has been everywhere, and generally speaking, he's setting up some good stuff. Just Golden Guardians has a summoner to get away.
He's been such a huge part of FlyQuest's success. The off-season moves for FlyQuest, bringing in PowerOfEvil, bringing in IgNar, two players with existing synergy from Misfits, and they really have brought a lot of direction, I think, to this team. That you can see it in game. You're talking about IgNar starting off a lot of these plays, roaming on the mobility boots Alistar. PowerOfEvil's got to have to do his part, which has been the later game carry. He got focused a lot early here, but he's been trying to farm it up on the Viktor. Has been able to upgrade the Hex Core and looking for his first item after that.
And he's at least farming decently well, but honestly, not to this typical sort of PoE mark, honestly, right? You're expecting 10 per minute from this guy long term. He's really not there. Second Herald's going to be pretty easily by Golden Guardians. We know both top and bottom lane have been attacked a little bit, and this time around, actually, FlyQuest, I think correctly so, happily giving away that Herald and going for the Cloud Drake instead. A little surprised to see Golden Guardians not play for that objective, to not secure that for themselves. They'll get a turret for it almost certainly, but if they're going for Soul, that's been delayed.
Yeah, and it is a Cloud Soul, so a little bit less important for me than a lot of the other Souls given this team composition, but it definitely is still powerful. It's a very conscious choice here by Golden Guardians to look for. Rift Herald number 2 means they can actually get all of these outer turrets down. They just use that one on the bottom side. They'll be able to have full map control heading into the successive cloud spawns.
huhi takes down a Krug camp. Couple hundred gold picked up there. He's rich by support standards, you have to believe. That's going to feel nice. He's close to Stone Plate. No huge problems there for him.
And support standards are changing too over the years here.
That's true. Oh, yeah.
It gets a lot easier to feel rich it's by support standards nowadays. Honestly, both these supports with their mobility boots should be having big impact. They're both looking for roam plays. huhi had the one good one on mid lane where it was combined with the flash of Closer's Rek'Sai to really get Goldenglue part of this big lead. But for the most part, it has been IgNar on the Alistar.
Oh, Closer gets collapsed. He knows they're coming. The damage is enough. Is it enough? Is it enough? Bullet time? Yes, it is. WildTurtle takes him down. A little bit of poke on a Santorin, but Goldenglue cannot follow through. I'm not sure if he wasn't tracking the tremor sense or what, but they just surrounded him.
Moby Boots Alistar freak can't track him with the radar gun. Which way is he going? You don't know until it's too late, and IgNar's right behind him. He even catches the Rek'Sai off guard there. Really good play, though, and that's why we've been talking about him. he continues to push things back for FlyQuest, even though Golden Guardians do have this gold lead and they've got this map control. He's looking for those openings for FlyQuest and trying to keep them in it.
Yeah, right now, got to check in. Gold lead is 2,600. Another fight in the top side, and now a fight in the bottom. But FBI, he's going to get the root. Now, is there the follow-through to knock down WildTurtle? He's still in fog of war right now. Walks in with the Scythe active and says, you know what? It's a little bit too scary. Not sure if they're roaming down. Let's just go ahead and back off here. Ulti down for pretty much nothing. As we check back out and everything else, still have yet to see the bottom outer turret fall. Haven't seen FlyQuest pick up one at all.
Yeah, that was a DPS check boss fight right there. FBI was able to get the engage on Turtle with the Gravitum, but with only Severum there, he had to back off as Turtle was able to deal a decent amount of burst. That's going to be the Rift Herald, though, and that is going to be not only the outer turret, they're for number 2. Teleport for the flank.
Oh, Huhi's about to be in a 1 versus 4 here. Son of Goldenglue solo kills PowerOfEvil. He had flashed, didn't use it, got taken down. Now suddenly IgNar's in a bad spot. Viper's here, ready to pop the ulti, ready to go for a fight now as well. But Huhi gonna grab that kill. Nowhere out for Viper. An easy 3K for Golden Guardians. The double for Huhi. He is rich even by non-support standards.
Oh my goodness, Freak. That was so well played by the Golden Guardians. They clean up this game, basically. You know how many things they just got? That was multiple kills around the dragon. Closer's not even done yet. Plus, 2 secondary turrets will be picked up here. We are in the presence of the Golden God.
They are absolutely popping off. About to go to 8 and 10, which has a chance at making playoffs. If there's a time to peak, it's potentially too late, but maybe it's not. We'll see if they can keep going. I'm gonna hope Immortals loses later on today as well.
All right, here's the Golden God in action. He does get pillared off by Santorin, but he threads the bubble right past him and then kills off the carry. Santorin turns around looking for the team. Everybody's just scrambling now, and IgNar and Viper were there trying to pull off a flank with the teleport. But because Goldenglue made that kill with Zoe, snipes him with the bubble into a one-shot, it completely destroys all of FlyQuest's plans.
And this is peak, like, max damage as well, right? Goldenglue's on double flat pen. There's no MR on PoE except from the one stat shard in his rune page. That's not going to do a ton. So, yeah, you're seeing absolutely massive damage come out. Now, Hauntzer, yeah, Viper has to pop the Rune King for the slow. And that is a top lane that's feeling pretty good. He got first blooded, and now he's winning in farm. He's winning in turret pressure. He's winning the 1v1.
People always ask, you know, what's your most hated champion? And I know that you, Freak, are a lover of Teemo, so that's not going to be your answer. One of the most other common answers, though, is Zoe. How does she actually rank for you? Because I know PowerOfEvil after that is pretty frustrated. You get hit by one bubble, and then boom, he's toast, and their team is lost most of the map. You might want to answer after this because IgNar's in.
IgNar's in the middle of the fight with half HP. Viper gonna flash in there as well. Pop the ult to the chase, and Goldenglue flash over the wall, stays safe. FBI opens up, takes down 1, and Ornn takes down number 2. Over the wall he goes, finds his second kill. He's running for 1, grabs that one. IgNar's gonna be rooted in place. As long as he can find the reveal, that's gonna be the ace. If he can run, he's trying with the cloud movement speed. He gets pushed back. 1 auto attack, that's the Bud Light ace. That's Golden Guardians running all over FlyQuest.
This has got to be FBI's best champion. He's flashing in on the Aphelios, cleans up all of the kills, and this one is looking like Golden Guardians are peaking right now, Freak. It's not too late yet. Baron will be theirs. 3rd Dragon will be theirs.
Yep. You know, they are peaking right now, and it's an advantage for them. Look at this one. 7,000 gold lead about to be grown even larger. Baron, a formality here. 43,000 to 34,000. This is such a massive lead for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, I mean, what a weekend for them. So week 9 of the LCS, crunch time. They're almost out of playoffs, but they still have hopes, and they have a 24-minute win yesterday with Zig's support. This one looking like they're going to be able to clean it up shortly after that, as Baron buff should empower them to break inside these inhibitor turrets. You just pick up the dragon on your way, and hopefully for Golden Guardians, it's going to be a longer path, and they'll get a chance at those tiebreakers.
Yeah, I mean it keeps the chance that the 5 or 6 game tiebreaker alive. We're gonna have some games to play. At the very least, if this happens, it's gonna create some interesting scenarios. Again, they still need Immortals to drop, otherwise they still can't catch. So they're really, really, really hoping that EG can pull one out for them. At this point, you have to expect, 95-5. Golden Guardians wins this game. The items are stacking up. Everything else is ready to go.
And I believe if FlyQuest lose, then our 0 tiebreaker scenarios are gone, so we'll at least have some.
Yep.
Here come the Golden Guardians, though. This inhibitor tower is going to take a beating.
All right, Poke going back and forth. Santorin at half HP, 24 minutes in. They are ready to keep the push going. Anchor comes out, doesn't catch PowerOfEvil. That would have been a kill if it landed, though. Would have had Flash, but probably been CC chained. All the same, Goldenglue over the wall, gets the Drowsy. Not sure they can find the follow through, but Hauntzer's going to walk up and say, I own the territory. Alistar can't engage on us. Those are split down to the mid lane. Knock that down a little bit. Flash trade against PoE. Nice attempt there, though, by huhi. Waiting for a new wave. Bit of poke damage down. Ult burned by the Nautilus, but again, PowerOfEvil will stay safe. Threw his own ult down for some wave clear. Now look at the mid lane. Santorin's healthy. Gonna try to clear the minions down, so will WildTurtle. The rest of Golden Guardians ready to put this one down. Hauntzer gonna pop the ulti. They're gonna find some knockups. No, he can't get into it. A great pillar by Santorin. Stops that one from happening. Well played there on the low practice Trundle, but it's not enough to stop the money bags and the fact that Viper was still in the top lane. Claims 2 turrets, gets some gold back in the pockets, but there's 2 dead inhibitors for FlyQuest.
Yep, their base is in ruins. Also, Ornn is now level 15. Gonna start upgrading some extra items. I believe Zoe should be first in line, does get the upgrade on Death Cap. So you thought the one-shots were bad before. They're going to continue.
They are going to continue. I love this build. Zoe actually has very good AP ratios for her base images, so you really, really do want to add a Death Cap in that build as soon as possible. Just stopping for Oblivion Orb and then moving up from there, I think this is actually a great Zoe build. I think it's probably mathematically optimal from the math that I've done. So fan of this build, absolutely on the champion, and will, do absurd damage to many, many champions. Yet to see any MR on PoE, but of course he doesn't really have the time to do that. He needs to stack damage so he can have a chance at killing the opposing front line as FlyQuest, battle an 8,000 gold deficit.
Yeah, in scenarios like this, I don't think you can build to actually soak or tank damage. You have to outplay. Like, FlyQuest have to outplay, have to dodge skill shots. That's their tankiest member, by the way.
Well, IgNar goes in with the ulti up there as well. Stun's going to land on a WildTurtle. There's Viper for the back line. FBA has to burn the stopwatch. Maybe they can find the re-engage. They're hoping to find him, but they can't quite do it. That's going to be 2 kills picked up already. The Chaos Storm couldn't quite find the AD carry. IgNar is running. Goldenglue wants in. That's the 3rd kill picked up. Not a problem at all. 3, 0, and 6 on the 2 primary carries. Teleport into the mid lane. This game is over. Golden Guardians have the fastest win of yesterday. They have the fastest win of today as well, which I don't even mean as a joke, because it's under 27 minutes. They will knock down this Nexus. The turrets are gone. Hauntzer can tank up infinitely here. No problem at all. Golden Guardians are going to hope and pray that evil geniuses do them a solid, but we might just see them back in playoffs.
This is North America, freak. We know drama.
Yes!
The Golden Guardians are trying to set some up.
Oh my gosh, absolutely beautiful. So well played. The early game was great. Santorin and PoE showed up top lane. They got that dive. Then huhi overstepped bottom lane. Santorin was there again. It looked like, wow, FlyQuest ready to take care of business, but it all stopped from then. The roams were good. The mid pressure was good. Goldenglue and FBI both had outstanding games, and Hauntzer weathered the storm beautifully. The whole squad deserves credit. Golden Guardians improved to 8, and they hope that Immortals can lose so that they can play a tiebreaker for the last playoff spot. The eyes are on that match.
You're gushing, freak.
Hey, it's things
big
to
heart
watch
eye
for.
emojis.
It's things to watch for. It's exciting. We got at least 7 more games to play today because we're going to have some tiebreakers. So stay tuned. We'll be back after this.
When you're chasing greatness, just remember, it's not about what you say. It's about what you do.
Yeah, I'm married. Doesn't matter. You do that for me? Really? Yeah, I'd like that.
Who are you talking to?
It's Jake from State Farm. Sounds like a really good deal.
Jake from State Farm at 3 in the morning? Who is this?
It's Jake from State Farm.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Khakis? Hey, do they ever ask you what you're wearing?
Yeah.
Red sweater, button-down shirt. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.